Hi, my name is Liz Walters, and I'm the chair of the Ohio Democratic Party. Like many of you, we were so saddened to hear of the loss of American media icon Jerry Springer. What you may not know about Jerry is that he's a proud son of Ohio with a decades-long career in public service and a lifetime of political activism. Jerry gave his all to the Buckeye State in support of people and causes he believed in and never stopped fighting for a better Ohio. I got to meet Jerry for the first time as a young political staffer who was assigned to drive him and his friend Gene around Ohio in support of the 2012 presidential re-election campaign and Senate race. And whether we were in a room with donors in Cleveland, in a barn in Columbiana County, or in a city park in Cincinnati, people were drawn to Jerry and the message he delivered, speaking on issues ranging from racial justice and economic opportunity to the Iraq War and voting rights. Jerry made an indelible mark across the country, to be sure, but even after he became a cultural icon on TV, he never lost touch with Ohio and the Democratic Party. We are grateful for his decades of leadership, for the many ways in which he supported our organization and our candidates, and as he often signed off from his legendary show, take care of yourself and each other. Here we'd like to compile a few remarks from people who Jerry never stopped helping to take care of over the years here in Ohio.
When I think about Jerry, I always want to smile. And I know he would want us to tell the stories, to share our memories, because he gave so much, he did so much. He fought for and protected our democracy. I don't believe that there would be any Democrat that could say that Jerry Springer wasn't there for them. I know he was there for me. I think a story that sums it all up. It was the Democratic National Convention in Boston. I can remember being so excited and honored that I was going to be right down there on the floor. And who wasn't standing right next to me but Jerry Springer? Jerry Springer and I took photos together. We talked to people. He was never at a loss for word. No matter what job you had or what level you were elected for. And that's what I want people to remember, that he was a people's person, far ahead of his time and all the things that he delivered. But he delivered not only for Ohio, but for the nation. And if you don't believe that, just play back some of those old TV shows of the Jerry Springer Show. And I think that will speak for itself. We remember him as a leader, a legend, and a fighter for the people. I'm Congresswoman Joyce Beatty. And just in case you didn't know, I approve this message.
When I was an undergraduate at Xavier and Jerry was a baby lawyer here, that was 55 years ago. I've never met another individual like Jerry. He was one of a kind. His generosity to Democratic politicians was unheard of. When I was chair of the local Democratic Party, I'd get calls all the time from politicians who wanted me to ask Jerry for money. My response always was, I'm not going to ask him for money. The best thing you can do is ask him to do something for you, to be helpful. And Jerry invariably would agree to come to Cincinnati, to be the keynote speaker, to go door to door with candidates, to go help circulate petitions, to do whatever he could to be helpful to politicians. And with that came an incredibly generous donation to numerous candidates at local, state, and national levels. He had the ability to energize crowds like no other politician I've ever seen. And his loss today is a real loss to the Democratic Party and to those of us who believe in politics can make society better.
Jerry Springer was a giant here in Cincinnati. He served as a city councilman, served as the mayor of our great city, and then went on to have so much success in Hollywood on radio and podcasts, TV shows, and in movies. But But we know Jerry for his generosity of spirit and his generosity of heart. He spent his entire career here in our city lifting up the disfortunate and shining his bright light on passions and issues that he cared so much about. At his core, he was a true giant, someone who cared so deeply for our city and someone who at every opportunity would brag about how wonderful Cincinnati and Ohio was. To everyone who loved Jerry, our thoughts and prayers are with you. Thank you so much, Jerry Springer, for everything you did for us.
Hi everybody, I just got off the phone with Todd Renzi and he let me know that Jerry Springer had passed away after a very short illness. And I was remembering all of the times that Jerry and I spent together over the course of the last 20 years, whether right up here in Marblehead when he came up and helped me run for re-election as state representative, or in Edgerton or Portsmouth or Clarington, Columbus, Cleveland. Countless times when Jerry would go door to door with me, attending events with members of Congress, with governors, and talking about core progressive values that we share and continue to fight for even to this day. He was quick to talk to coal miners in a way that they could embrace and understand. He was as quick to talk to party activists in places that Democrats sometimes tend to forget. He knew what we all have come to know, that if you stand up for the values we care deeply about, and you can talk about them in a way that is genuine and without any pretense, you'll find success. He also had a television show that evidently was pretty popular. I was a friend of Jerry for more than 20 years, and I'm gonna miss him. And today, we raise a glass of wine to Jerry, to Jerry's family, to his wife Mickey, and to all of those he cared about. Cheers.
Jerry Springer was, to me, not only a politician or politically involved, but he was a friend of mine as well. He was a true friend. He was an individual who could connect with people. It didn't matter who these people were, where they came from. It was not unusual when Jerry would come to Cincinnati and I would be in his presence, for Jerry to be walking down the street and people would just walk up to Jerry, just people he didn't know. And he would just stop whatever he was doing or whatever he was saying with me and just interact with them. And they would just be so overwhelmed in how he inspired them. He could energize and connect with people in a way that not very many people could do. And he did it well. He was a social justice fighter. He fought for human rights. He fought for labor. He fought for voting rights. He fought for all of those things that helped us to frame our democracy. He was a man with integrity. He was a man that focused on being civil, and it didn't matter who you were. He accepted you where you were. And that's what I'd like everybody to remember about him.
Jerry was a unique person. I think he was an intellectual giant. He was the most effective communicator of democratic values that I know of. I think among all of the recent leaders in the Democratic Party in the state of Ohio, Jerry Springer stands out as the one who had the ability to most effectively communicate the Democratic message, the values that we believe in as Democrats. So this is a time of loss, but it is also a time of remembrance. We ought not to forget Jerry Springer, his generosity, his wisdom, his humor, and his ability to always reach out and to try to make this world a better place for all of us. And Jerry always taught us that we should take care of ourselves and each other. A wonderful lesson.
Jerry, you will be sorely missed. Thank you for so much of your life given over to this important work of making our state and our country a better place. And to his loved ones and family, thank you for sharing him with us in so many ways. His rest is well earned and he'll never be forgotten. And Jerry will never stop taking care of one another here in Ohio.